Hey guys, Ark here, bringing to you Chapter 1, Episode 11 of my Learning Night Elf series. This episode is going to be a follow-up to Episode 10. It's going to be an Armor Types Explained episode. Kind of was thinking of covering it in the previous episode. I opted not to, and then there was a request to cover it, so here we are. So if you look up on the screen, I have basically all the armor types that you're going to run into in the multiplayer mode. There are some that are already set up in the system that potentially on some oddball maps you might find an armor type different than these, but in all the classic multiplayer game modes you're not going to really find anything other than this. So we have unarmored, heavy, fortified, light, medium, and hero. One thing just that I don't specifically cover in this episode, in the background that you see here is hero types. So hero armor types, you can see that take reduced damage from piercing, siege, magic, and spells. Essentially, this is an explanation for why, as an undead player, maybe you throw a death coil out and it only does about 75 damage to the hero, and that's because their armor type actually reduces the spells. So it's consistent with all spells in the game, and essentially this is why. Every hero in the game will have a hero armor type. So now I guess we'll just jump right into the game, or the map editor I guess I have. So we'll start with Orc here. There's a couple classic things that you can use as a shorthand tool to tell you what their armor type is. Typically, all air units will have a light armor type. So essentially that is the like the Bat Rider and the Wind Rider right here, the Griffon and the Dragonhawk Rider, the Frostworm and the Destroyer, the Chimera, the Fairy Dragon, and the Hippogriff Rider. They'll have a light armor type. Another tool that you can kind of use is casters. Casters will almost universally have a unarmored armor type. So that essentially means the all of the Orc casters and the Kodo Beast, in this case, will have the unarmored armor type. If we jump over to human, the two casters, the Priest and the Sorceress, they will have unarmored armor type. For undead, the Banshee and the Necromancer, they have unarmored armor type. And for Night Elf is actually a little bit unique in this case. A lot of their units actually have unarmored. So we're going to have the Druid of the Talon, both form, the Crow form and the Druid form. The Hippogriff itself will have unarmored. The Dryad and the Huntress also have unarmored armor type. Typically, the heavy armored units are going to be, think of it like your tier 1 melee unit, or if you have like a heavy tier 3 melee unit. So essentially for Orc, that's going to be the Grunt, the Tauren, and typically all of the siege units will also have heavy armor type. And so in this case, it's going to be the Demolisher. For human, we're going to go with the Footmen, the Knight, the Mortar Team, and the Gyrocopter. They all have heavy armor type. For undead, it'll still be following this trend. We'll have the Meat Wagon, the Ghoul, and the Abomination, as well as the Obsidian Statue, also has a heavy armor type. Night Elf is a little bit unique here. We have the Mountain Giant, but Mountain Giants do not follow this. So you'll have your Glaive Thrower, your Druid of the Claw, Druid form, and Bear form will each have heavy armor. I guess I'm kind of doing all of them at once, so we'll just continue this trend. The medium armor, which typically is going to be your tier 1 ranged unit. For the most part, that actually holds true. So for Orc is going to have the Headhunter. The Raider will also be a medium armor unit type, or defense type. For human, it still holds true. We have the Riflemen, and in this case, they're going to be a Spellbreaker will have medium as well. For undead, we only have the Crypt Fiend, and for Night Elf, we will have the Archer as well as the Mountain Giant. There we have it. That is episode 11 that covers the armor types. Thank you for tuning in.